North, Tim, than you did over South. When we pulled United for Peace together, it was right during Murderapolis. It wasn't the police killing us. We was killing us. We was killing ourselves, each other, like 94 going east and west. And them brothers and sisters said, Renee, we got to stop. And so we started having meetings at New Salem. The brothers from the South Side, brothers from St. Paul, the brothers from Minneapolis. Then there was a bunch of infighting with different groups. I had to go to Chicago to get some of the U brothers to settle down in the seas. That's just how tough it was, but everybody was willing to do it. And they locked themselves around a common agenda. And the main thing was, we got to stop this. The gangsters set up a system of accountability that if that was an infraction, they would come to the church. And if you think I'm lying, ask Charles Muhammad. They would come to the church, and on the way into the church, on 2309 Plymouth Avenue North, everybody in there would be searched. And there was a table set up. It was almost like a community court of law. And whatever group did the infraction, the group that was hurt laid the case out. And everybody made the decision. And here is the punishment for what you did. And everybody abided by it. If any group decided to go in a different direction or leave that table, the agreement was every group now was against you. Y'all hear me? It worked, and it worked for years until the Fed and them got involved. Listen, y'all. We will not do this thing separately. The highs, the lows, whatever you want to call yourself. But then there are those who might be, whose skill set is not on the block. Your skill set is in having the ability to form the story and be able to tell the story. Because if I got to be on the block taking care of that business, I will be losing valuable time trying to tell the story. Other folk do that. If funding is needed, and it definitely certainly is, those who have the ability to do it ought go do it. But once you go get the funds, you got to make sure that the people on the ground that you went and got the funds for on the back of get them. And that's what the breakdown is. And so groups start fighting each other. Y'all, listen. The money they was arguing about moving over to the county, I think is about $1.2 million. I think 3 groups got it. Y'all, you actually think you gonna make a dent in the violence issues of North and South Minneapolis for $1.2 million? Say you gave each group $400,000. All right. Thank you, Tim. Pennies. $400,000. Say they take out 10% for administrative fee. Now you're down to $360. Then you deal with uniforms and all of that, radios, phones. Yo, that $400,000 before you hit the block is probably more like $280 to $300. Now, divide that up on how many people, if they did 30 hours a week at $25 an hour, how many people will you get? And you're saying to that group, go on 35th and Penn and get that block. Because That's where the shooting, the drug selling. Thank you, Tim. Other groups getting that much money. And they give us chump change and we fight each other for it. So when we sat in that meeting years ago, when this neighborhood safety thing was designed, Sharif and I had not been invited to the meeting. Trey Hearn called us because Trey was part of our group. He said, y'all need to be down here. So when Sharif and I walked in, you could feel the tension that them black folk had for us. And you could cut it with a knife. Here we are, been on the block, know our way around this thing. Hey, Joan, groups just getting started. And so when they started talking about it, the cure model and how good it was, I didn't raise my hand at all. Sharif raised his hand. And he said, y'all, we designed that. That guy took that from us. And it's going to be limited A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So when I spoke, I said to them this, y'all, if you all take that money and let them separate you without a comprehensive plan, it's going to destroy you. Because see, here's what they'll do, and here's what they did. They'll take new groups and use them. They'll get them hooked on that fatty. And once they hook, they'll then stop and leave them on the side. Every group, y'all, that started getting that money under Sasha, now they cut them off. Folk hollering, oh, they don't have paperwork. She didn't require them to have paperwork. Now, who you know gonna want to give away that much money and not have them with paperwork? Soon the taxpayers gonna want to know what they doing, what time they doing it. All we see them doing is standing. Hell, that's all they had told them to do. And so we attack the groups for doing and working in a corrupt system, but they knew better because they know how we roll. You cannot allow people in the office to dictate what we do on the block because they don't know what goes on the block. Nor can you they tell you, well, you got to shift from 3 to 9. So let me get this straight. Because I took some money from you, you gonna tell me, one, when I can work, where I can work, and then told them you can't work with no dealings with the police. Y'all, how you gonna do this without the police? You can't. And so we let that separate us. And now you got groups who had a bunch of people hired. See, they came in getting money. We've been working for nothing. We finally got some money, and I thank God for it. But I ain't no fool either. Because I got a call 2 weeks before the year ended, saying, Reverend, we thought we were going to have the money for you all for the next 2 years for downtown. The money's been cut, and your team is over on the 31st of December. After us being one of the major players in cleaning it up. Y'all hear me? Well, it ain't stopped us from working. We don't work down there. Because we've been working without anything. And black folk will fight us and each other for chump change. That's why I say, y'all, yesterday we didn't win nothing. We didn't win nothing. Because here's what they're going to do with them new groups. They're going to fund them for a minute. Some of them are going to be dealing with, there are 3 categories of young people that I've discovered. A, B, C. A are the good ones. Ain't gonna have much issues out of them. B are the marginal ones. They can go to A, they can go to C, they right on the edge. And then you got the C group. That's just, wow. They got some major issues. The money is gained off of the C group. You hear me? But when the agencies get the proposal and get the money, most of the time, they don't go deal with the C group. They go get the A. They prefer the A because there's less work, or the B. You hear me? Now, what we need to know, Tim, those names is out there. It's public record, bro, on everybody who got those things. And I told y'all who the name of the person who was running all that rig stuff, Sasha Cotton. Dude didn't need to get them names. I've been telling y'all. Okay? So they don't, well, we serve them too. Nolan, and that's my point. If all of us are communicating, if you know what I'm doing, I know what you're doing, the one that's in the margins, they got to be dealt with. So we got to have somebody to deal with them. But then the ones who got the C, the B, and the A, if you going to work it right, all of you got to be comparing notes. You can say, all right, y'all better suit it for this one. But we'll go into them places, Aretta, and make these folk think we got to answer for every group. And you don't. And so we wind up losing because we get in there hollering about a few dollars. We'll cancel each other out about a few dollars, and our people, just like they are now, continue to be lost. Y'all, we keep allowing the oppressor to set the agenda for our people. Can't do it if we're going to win. So my challenge to us is this. If you in the room and you the only one in the room, well, obviously, maybe JDV on, you didn't hear what I said. That's what I talked about earlier. Nobody's going to fund our freedom. We got to fund it. Folks say, oh, Rev McAfee and his cars. Rev McAfee worked. But you don't talk about the money I spend and put into us.